Hi, very good evening. This is Prashant, and glad that we are connected to discuss. So, this is the very first of a kind series called the Tech Talk. With me, my co-presenter is Shubrat. We are going to discuss the platform strategy as well as the enterprise API demand process. Why that API demand process? How it is relevant to a product manager or a product leader? We'll cover slowly in the next 20 minutes. It will be a smooth ride, and we'll cover the roller coaster journey of the enterprise API demand process for the product managers. So whenever we are going with any enterprise, when we perform our daily activities, we have to perform fundamentally five different enterprise objectives, like as a transform the enterprise, expand the innovation portfolios, drive the operational efficiency, or making the enterprise more agile and adaptive, and we are enabling the resources from operation to the front office to the delivery and execution called self-service mode. Wherever essentially fundamentally five different Lego blocks like your DevOps, co-execution, co-delivery, your product ecosystems, partnering ecosystems, age strategy, everything will converge into a more agility, innovative ways. So the operational efficiency and agile adoption, they brings the horizontal durability and availability and more agile to the organization, whereas the transformed enterprise on the tech skill and self-service, it brings the productivity and efficiency scale of the enterprise. Now, if we move into the different aspect of how to achieve those fundamentally defined pillars, the sponsoring executives normally defines the Lego blocks or the KPIs in terms of six fundamentally identified objectives. The very first objective is collaboration and expertise. Here, the senior executives are engaged with the project executives, and they want across the value chain, across the organizational reporting matrix, the execution collaborations and functional interaction should be completely reliable, stable, as well as more responsive, not like that more reactive. Then everywhere in the value chain of the system, it should be customer focused and customer centric. The very next fundamental block is alignment and acceleration. The moment we are talking about that alignment and acceleration, it is implying to speed with the accuracy, speed with performance and perfectionism. So senior executives in the API demand functions, they define their objectives, they test and run their MVPs so quickly so that the overall iterative development and shippable product is in line with the committed and agreed deliverable or end goals. Now, migration and efficiency. When we are talking about the migration and efficiency, efficiency always signifies our ability to produce on time within the stipulated constraints, organization defined constraints, and the mitigation, the ability of the or the capability of withstanding on a adverse situation. So as a product leader in the API demand process creation, whenever we are exposing the core or any of the existing systems, we have to identify what are the adverse situations where we have to withstand our delivery, execution, and our value proposition if some of the systems doesn't integrate well. Now, delivery and quality. As a senior executive, leverage standardized architectural and operational frameworks to drive the better quality of deliverables, small release, meaningful release, impactful release with value proposition ready to make an impact to the existing deliverables. So fifth one is the agile and reliable. So why agile is coined with the term reliable? Because being agile is good for the performance, efficiency, and delivery and execution perspectives. But reliable and conformity both signifies our stand on the qualitative deliverables, timely deliverables, meeting the objectives within the defined constraints, which is in a way it is trusted and enduring for the customer obsessiveness. The last piece of this is share and build. When the developer from the artifact from the API demand function perspectives, the deliverable is the code base. To the end customer, it is a functional deliverable or feature deliverable to your partner ecosystem or for the targeted customer segment you are building. But at the same time, the feedback loop or the improvements through the ceremonies like retrospective and retrospection or the product reviews, we came to know our point of improvements, area of improvements, and we formulate a strategy, formulate the next course of action, what are the next set of activities or corrective and preventive actions we have embedded into the system so that the identified anomalies can be rectified and further improvement will be based on that defined goals and standards and procedures and governance principles. Having said that, but all these deliverables and fundamental work function of this API demand function is for a specific captain who is heading and deciding the entire on-demand creation and the objective of that engagement. As a senior executive, we need a product development which is collaborative in nature and aligned with the organization defined processes. It should be having a component-based catalog systems that gives a self-service, discoverable, consumable, as well as it should have a defined process of your service creation, service demand process generation, service development, build, test, publish, and consumption. With this, let's put a simple bird's eye view of what are the fundamental value drivers we are trying to achieve for the organizations. The very first fundamental value driver is a best practice to improve enterprise agility in the architectural perspectives. Because more and more your systems are embedded point to point, host to host. As an enterprise, we lose the agility and characteristics and flexibility of integrating with it or extending our core capability to the external ecosystems. Center of practice, which will be empowered with the best practices, patterns, and as an organization, we will shift from a specific pointed knowledge base to a wider and dispersed and diverse knowledge based and subject matter expertise systems, and it will empower the organization to take to a enabled digital transformation way. Then faster provisioning, low cost workload, timely, accurate, and efficient throughputs. Scalable development with the lean processes, MVP modes, with the continuously ever running proof of concept on the improved ideas and materialized thought processes to achieve and align to the business objective and priorities. With this, in typically demand process, when our value drivers in a typical range of 12 months, when we define the target operating model, we fundamentally strive for three value drivers: agility, quality, and speed. But the team we interact, from the business domain owners or the executive sponsor to the Scrum team to the advisory group to the executives, the center of practice, we have a common understanding. The core team is the enterprise architecture API core team, which develop, design, validate, test. That cross-functional core team, which promote the enterprise agility within a defined standardized application architecture framework and best practices. The collaborative organization structure, which will be horizontally scaled and enabled by the DevOps team, and self-service catalog components, that sandbox environment where the visibility of the system information and certain life cycle is visible. It fundamentally achieves six different working functions for the core team. The very first is enterprise API core team chats with business and IT leaders to provide input and validate product development activities. During initial scoping exercise, the enterprise API core team actively participate in the sessions and bring the sample use case from the digital project in order to apply and adapt best practices. Then when API core team provides their inputs, this product is ready for the executive approval and confirmation and the feasibility. Once they are approved, they will go for the prepare the product architecture, design, HLD, LLD, then they will go for the central practice and SMEs. So finally, after a new product goes live, the API core team publish and broadcast those APIs so that it can be across the organization or intended segments validated and used. Finally, when we move from the initial to the final one, the transition, we defined different phases. Typically, this enterprise API demand process moves with the three different phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, with a duration of 9 weeks, 12 weeks, and 24 weeks. Now, within this, we define, okay, within 9 weeks, we will complete the API framework engagements, or typically we implement a target operating model, or we define couple of sprints, and roughly per sprint we define 10 APIs. So I have given the 20 API is a good measurement of to derive the KPIs. Similarly, phase 2 we call it that foundational phase. Define the target operating model based on the lessons learned from the initial design of the first phase 1, 9 weeks sprints. Then implement the target operating model and full governance processes. Focus is more on the governance process, and we establish the standardized and firm and stable DevOps practices, because that is the base on which our efficiency and the delivery speed depends. The last phase is the phase of the scale. How accurately, like efficient cheetah and cheetah in bulk to produce the elephants again and again. So bringing the agility culture, extended DevOps program, pipeline intake processes, and the train architect, developer, and product owners, so that agile, vibrant, self-disciplined, reward, and efficient team can be formulated. So as a product leader or product owner or product manager, we are driving with a different world where shorter life cycle, the measurable components are shorter life cycle, fewer defects, reduced duplicity, and reuse across the enterprise. We have the enablers like transformation assets, center of excellence, and developer portals. Within this, as a product leader, our job is building the momentum to start and making the impact to create the difference. So as a whole, to bring this a momentum to start and creating an impact to sustain, we need to define our market goals, matrices, and structural aspects like and functional aspects like approval process, intake process, or the prioritization backlog is and released and everything. Similarly, as a product leader or product manager, we need to define the agreed of or scopifying the agreement of definition of done. What is the logical closure of the cycles? What is the logical closure of the MVPs? And what are the shippable and marketable features for specific sprints and releases? Finally, as a product owner, we have to certify the build products whether it meets our the requirement or definition of done or not, both in build, test, deployment, and monitor phase. And lastly, we have to review our set objectives in the form of matrices or KPIs to really forecast our velocity and achievable business impact to the organization as a whole. Lastly, as the product owner, we capture all the product related artifacts in a shared repository and create the underlining or for the organization, the basic premise for the repository, which will be the pivotal reference point for the next course of enterprise transformational journey. If we look into this API economy as a competitive disruptive landscape, there are fundamentally multiple financial or the leading digital organizations in the financial sector, e-commerce sectors, or aggregated platforms. They have already divided into different groups like non-financial entrants, innovative banks, new payment models, new lending models, new depository models. They have adopted because they were able to extend their core existing capability through the APIification or through a smart and dumb contracts. As a whole, before we close, we are trying to achieve the fundamentally 6 different common use cases most prevalent in the enterprise now: exposing your system of records or core capability, accelerating your internal development, expanding the reach of your business both internally and externally, building the hybrid cloud applications or harnessing the benefit of the cloud, charge back your data and services, streamlining your internal integration assets, and developing the ecosystem to generate revenue. These are more prominent use case across the enterprise, across the industry and sectors. Thank you. I hope with this, I am handing the platform to my co um, presenter Subrat for the next platform strategy. Post that, we will go for the Q&A.
Sure. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks for the wonderful session. So let me share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. You're able to see my screen, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Subrat here. I work as a product manager at Dell. So currently I'm doing a financial application support development. So this particular session is going to talk about what exactly the platform is, how exactly it is a new business model, how exactly it is building, and what are the players in this particular platform, as well as I will tell you how exactly in this particular session you will come to know at least how you solve the chicken egg problem. So if you're not aware of chicken egg problem, definitely I will catch that particular point in the middle of the slide. Okay, so before we start, okay, let me just do, yeah. So basically, why exactly why platform is coming up now, right? So basically, when initial days when 1940s or 50s industrial ages was there, so basically we used to build a factory, and from that particular one we used to make a lot of items, then we kind of sell it. So basically you see the product companies, so what they do is they create one items and they sell it to one. So basically one product will be sold to one product. So and what exactly we do is, it is a product like where exactly the factory and out some input are required. And after that also, that model we move to service model, where you do as a service, like you go to the doctor and do your prescription, you check your kind of what is the health, and you check your what is your health is performing, like you had some kind of fever, so he give you some kind of information like, hey, this is a medicine you need to take. That's kind of service model. So where you hire somebody to do this particular job for you, like you hire somebody to check and give back the information so that you can use that one for future reference. In the industrial, in the kind of internet, when internet booms in 1999 or 2000, that particular era when internet got into boom, so there a lot of software company comes in. So what exactly they do is, they do one product, they will create one product for you and they will sell it to multiple people. Like basically you take any ERP application or any of the products like currently you're using, so it is a kind of one product which is kind of given to each people in a same way. Like you get this particular product, if it is a B2B, might be some customization required, but it's more related to this, like make one and sell to many of the people. What exactly happened is, like there's a problem in this particular case where the scalability is a problem, and also there's a problem with the network effect. So currently one guy is selling and one guy is buying. So what exactly happened is, platform is kind of when comes in, it is like make more and sell more. And what exactly this means, it will affect in terms of making your network effect. It will create a network effect. So basically what exactly I give you network effect example. Let's say you have a mobile like 19 let's say 1980, you have only one person has a mobile, correct? So if you have mobile that has not any value, because you don't have any network to you want to call, like you have only person to have the mobile phone, it doesn't make sense, correct? So if you have two people comes in, like one people, another people comes in mobile, so at least you can talk to them. So it is kind of a create a network effect between you and that particular person. And was as and when the market and people are keep buying the mobiles, it's kind of a greater network effect where anybody can talk to anybody with a platform, anybody. Okay. And in that particular cases, what exactly happens is, like all the services, like you can say all the emergency services like 101 or any of the police or any of these fire brigade, you call to the number, correct? So they just use that particular they just they got into this particular platform where you can call to this 101 and kind of get somebody to help you out, correct? So this kind of platform which can help you in terms of network effect, as well as it will be help you in terms of economic of scale. To give an example, what exactly happened is that whenever you have a, let's say you have a factory which is has a capacity of creating thousands of products, correct? So what exactly happens is, you move from one city to other city and you have built your lot of efficiency so that it will make you more efficient and you will create more of products. But you have a limit. Hey, you have only 1,000 products you can build with more thorough efficiency, correct? After that, if you want to move it to 1,000 to 2,000, you have to input some product, you have to input some material, or you have to include a new product in your production facility. So as and when your TAM, like you're working in one city and you go to a different city, your TAM is going to be increased. So in that particular increase, there's a cost per transaction, but it will be increasing for the linear business, which is currently the old business which is happening. But in the platform business, what exactly happened is, if you go like if I'm like Uber is, let's say you an example, he is working in Bangalore. If he wants to move it to other city, like say going to Chennai, it's for him, it is not a big deal, because he just need to use a platform to people to enroll themselves, and there's no less cost to move to different. So as a TAM increases for the particular product, you don't have to spend a lot of money. It will be kind of a lesser and lesser as we go move forward. So it is an economic of scale as well as network effect, which kind of helps to the platform to grow. To go to the point, like before I know, I just want to clear clutter and the confusion between you, what exactly the platform business is. So in this particular case, like Netflix and Airbnb, so I just want to know which one is a platform business you think is a platform business. Okay, so tell you that, hey, Netflix is not a Netflix is not a platform business. So basically, what exactly Netflix does is, it buys the all the subscription from the HBO, or he creates his own subscription, and he is a good technology company, but he sells all his inventory through a direct channel, through a OTT platform to the end consumer. So it is not a platform; it is a technology company which has a catalog, and he takes care of all the supply chain logistic issue of this inventory. But in the case of Airbnb, it is a platform business where it connects the buyer as well as the producer as well as the consumer. Okay, so I will tell you how exactly what are the elements of the platform pairs, correct? So just to give an little example, in the platform business, in the where you see the Google Play Store, correct? The platform where Google Play Store is a platform where owner is the controls by the Google IP. So Android, where Google's Android takes care of this IP control, and provider is nothing but your mobile app, which is kind of a mobile app where you access to your Google Play Store. And in that particular platform, you have two-sided connected. One side is consumer who is looking for any of this app to solve his problem, like he will be looking for some of the app to solve his problem, and he will be using that particular one for some purpose. And we have a producer which gives that particular benefit to this particular user through this particular platform, correct? So in the platform, essentially you have three players. One is producer, one is consumer, and is a platform which is kind of owned and provided by the same people. It can be different people. So in this is the kind of a typical platform model. So is it a new model? Like, is it like that? Do we have this particular platform is new? Like we are kind of a lesson that new? No, it is not new. It is the old one, which is, if you see currently, you go to any mall, like you go to any Phoenix Mall, there are a lot of shops are there, and you can say Phoenix Mall is a platform where a lot of shops are created there, house where a consumer goes into and buy the stuffs, correct? So it is a platform where mall is a platform where you all the ecosystem, like all the players, like who is going to say all the e-commerce player, all the shops owners, they can create a platform in that particular one where I goes and buy that particular one. Similarly for the newspaper, so you can say newspaper used to have like people is supposed to read a newspaper, but it uses as a platform of advertisement isn't like every advertisement can come into and put the kind of a page of advertisement in the newspaper, so a newspaper can consume. The problem in this particular model is why this particular model is not able to scale, because the problem is that in this particular one there are a lot of infrastructure required. So there are a lot of physical hardware, because if you want to create a new mall, it is being it costs you a lot. In terms of newspaper, you want to scale it more, it will be having a lot of efforts, correct? So what exactly changed is the software scalability, and what is in the scale in with respect to scale where you don't have to spend a lot of money. All things are having digitally. It will help you in terms of growing this particular platform business model. So how exactly the platform makes money, correct? So just want to give a example of the Airbnb. So it could be different from the different platform business. So one of the model, I'm just taking it example as Airbnb. So Airbnb gives two set of values to two set of users. One set of users to the host, where host can come into the platform. He can list his properties, he can ratings, he can put the what are the properties he has, what is the timeline, what are the availability is there. He can give post everything in the platform. It's kind of value he is kind of getting, as well as the guest who is kind of go and Airbnb and find the desired hotel or desired space where he can live in, where is the time, where he can get the reviews, everything and get it. So he's getting the value. In terms of these values, Airbnb is getting as a commission rate from the host fee as well as the reservation fee from the guest. So it's kind of making the money where it's providing the value to the host and guest. In terms of it is getting as a point of some fees or kind of a reservation fees, it's getting the money. So it's kind of a effective as and when this particular network, if it grows, like one and when where we do more transaction, they will be getting more money. So it's kind of a create a win-win situation for everybody. Like it will be host will be having benefited, guest will be benefited, and Airbnb will be benefited, correct? So what exactly happened is, in this particular business, if you want to start a platform business, that's a two-sided of, as I told, there are two-sided of things, correct? One is the producer and another one is consumer, correct? So if you want to build something for one of the consumer, correct, you wanted to make sure that we have a lot of consumers who can come and buy to me, and so I will not join your platform unless I have a lot of consumer. Also consumer will not come to your platform unless you have a lot of producer. Like if let's say think of a situation where you have a lot of people are there in the Amazon platform and you have only let's say Amazon is selling, correct? So you will not get kind of hey, I'm not getting the variability and not getting the desired product from this one, so I will go to some other place. So and similarly, like if you want to start any business, new business model, and you want to come to the platform, you want to see does anybody buyer is there, because I don't want to spend my all my effort or energy to build this platform, connect to this platform and share all my inventory to somebody who can buy, correct? If nobody is there who can buy, correct? So basically it's a win-win situation for should be a win-win situation for both producer and consumer. If you don't have both sides exist, so there is no point that you can build this particular, you can scale this particular network effect, because it works on a scale. So to solve this particular problem, we have 8 ways. Like there are 8 ways within the books called Platform Revolution by Chaudhary. So this in this particular platform, they suggested how the people how the different companies has solved this particular chicken and egg problem with the different 8 ways. So I will go through one by one and kind of give an example how exactly the companies solve this particular challenges in the future, and we can use those any of the product you are building. You can use any of the strategy to kind of solve this particular chicken egg problem. Coming to the first problem, which is called first strategy, which is called follow the rabbit. So follow the rabbit tells that you have a non-platform business, you have some of the businesses going on online or whatever the way, and you can leverage that particular non-platform to a platform business. So basically, what exactly I mean to give an example, Amazon. So Amazon, when it started the business, it started with the online booking. Like I will send only the one kind of books to the user, so I will not do anything else. So when they started this particular one, as they have a customer who is kind of buying these particular books and he's selling this particular books, and the customers has different needs. They want different products to be buy online, correct? So he saw one opportunities where the non this particular one platform where only for the books one, he can leverage to other platform as well, like other products. He can allow all the other producers to come into the platform and sell the same thing, like different things to the instead of books, they can sell other things to my consumer as well. So in this is how a non-platform of a book is converted into a mega platform, which is kind of a networking effect, and it scales in a much larger space than now Amazon is. Coming to the second one, which is kind of piggyback. So piggyback is telling that, hey, you have to have an existing user base, so which you can leverage to kind of gain that particular platform. So you remember the days when Zomato was there, like initially when exactly it started with collecting the newspaper, like a restaurant kind of a review, like restaurant location details kind of stuff. It started with that particular one. And just similarly, it started with the way where you can know what is the nearby location, what are the service you have available, correct? So what they started is, when they started this particular applications, they have gone each store by store, collect those information, store in their app, so that people kind of when they search, they'll come to the fast, they can search the details, or they can call. Just dial when you started, just call, like you can call, I just want this particular service. They will go to their all the catalogs, whatever they collected on the ground level, they will share this information. So once this information is available to you and you have a scale that is possible, then you make it offer to the outside world, where you can sell this particular item. Like say Zomato, how did it? So you have all the restaurant places, and people now comes in like, hey, apart from knowing the restaurant, I can also order from this particular restaurant. So it is created a platform where you can come and buy something food from the online, correct? Just as similarly, it was created a platform where people can register also, and I have a service, I can call to this particular one and get a service. So it's kind of a piggyback where you use your existing user base and to make it a platform. The other one is shading. So basically, shading is nothing but you have to create a value for one set of user. Okay. So what exactly happens is, Google, when started in 2008, when it started as Android app, so you need to have some kind of app, correct? You cannot just create a platform without any app. So what it does is, it in 2018 it created a kind of competition where it will reward the people who gives the good app, like it will be top 1 2 3, it will give some prizes. So what exactly happens is, when Google does this particular one, it's creates a lot of kind of encouragement for the peoples and developers to create a lot of apps. So around 2000 or 2k 3k apps got created for this particular one, which Google used, and incentivize few of the producer, because they kind of, it is a contest. So who is the top in that particular contest, it has created this particular app. So in that particular case, when he Android launch and the first place, it has a lot of apps already there, so which can solve a user's problem. So it kind of created a use case where producer is already there, so it is easier for a consumer to come and use this particular apps. Second one is a Quora. So Quora, when exactly started, when they kind of created this particular site, what they used to do is, they used to create their own problem, and they answer similar questions. They come back and write the same answer as well. So they created those questions answer themselves, and kind of created, keep on doing, as and when people started writing, they will give the answer themselves. Once this kind of create this particular network effect, it's kind of a up and going and going and going. Okay, so that's how they created this particular platform in the shading ways. Another way is Marquee. So it's nothing but incentivize the key user. So basically, you have a producer and consumer. Some of the time, the producer is kind of a much more heavier, and he needs some kind of incentivize to come to your platform. So Uber, when started his kind of a Seattle, when he started his particular initial journey of this platform business of the cab, so it kind of incentivized all the drivers. It gave them a lot of money. It's like unless you until you get a cab, like until you get a passenger, you still I'll keep paying you. You will be in my app, so that it will be benefit for the others to join in my app and kind of take the ride. Correct. So it has spent a lot of monies to give the drivers initial kind of initial kind of incentives to join this particular platform. So once they have onboarded a lot of kind of drivers, are automatically easier for them to onboard the consumer, because it is easier for them to kind of book a cab and journey. Right. So it's kind of a strategy used by the Uber and a lot of other companies as well. Going to the five, so there's a uh, single site which is nothing but a um, first you solve a problem for one of the set of user. So basically what exactly done is Mygate, when they started this particular app, so what they have done is they have solved the problem for the all the apartment user. What are the problems they have, like hey, they wanted to see how the security is behaving, how the people are coming inside. So they have a built a platform, like a kind of not a platform but a product for the to serve the apartment owners. And what exactly they done is once they serve this particular problem apartment owner, they have solved the ERP for the apartment owner. Once this particular job is done, what they have done is they have pivoted this particular one. So they have make it a scale where if you see now in Mygate or in the booking app, you can book a cab from there, because you have a set of user who use this Mygate every day. So they just change that one to hey, you can now book a cab, you can book your maid, you can do anything in that particular one. So Mygate. Similarly for Redboss, when Redboss started, it has created a app for the bus drivers. Like a lot of buses is there, they don't have any formal software system to maintain their inventory number of seats is there. So they have created a product for them so that they all the bus drivers they can get this they can inventory, they can store their inventory of the number of buses they have. Once that is done, they have pivoted, hey, you have the inventory maintaining in the kind of in my app, why not you sell directly and get the money online. Correct. So how that's how they pivoted, they solved the one problem for the producer, and they promoted that particular one to other to buy the same stuff. So which kind of a single sided, where they solve one problem, then they expand it to the other side. Going to the sixth one, which is product evangelism. So basically it is nothing but your producer, like you create a problem, you create a product for the producer, and producer will ask the customer to come and join. So basically if you see Kickstarter, like when it is a kind of a crowdfunding app where you can fund any of these creator or founder, they wanted to do something and they want a is open for bid, you want to get say pie of my kind of invention, you have to pay this much of amount. Correct. So what exactly initially when they this particular when there's no funding platform is there, so they're not able to find a platform where they can calculate how many people are spending money, like giving the money, and they have to maintain those things in a kind of a paper. It's very tough for them. Now they have a Kickstarter where they can create their all the what are the products they have built, they have put it in the Kickstarter, and they will send all these all the kind of investor or the people who are looking for them, hey, you come and use this my platform to buy my product. So it will be easier. So basically they promoted that particular piece, which will be easier for the Kickstarter to grow. Second, and in B2B space, like if you can take any of these B2B space, I'm taking one example of SAP Ariba, where a lot of companies have suppliers. Like I want to buy something which is not my product, core product. I want to buy something for my supplier. Correct. So SAP, what exactly he's built is a Ariba platform where all the supplier has to be onboarded in this particular platform, and the business can come and buy from this particular platform. They don't have to build everything from the scratch one. Correct. So what exactly happened is once the company uses SAP to all the supplier, he promote, hey, all the suppliers you have to be in my SAP system so that I can buy create a PO and everything, make my business easy. So that's why the company who is procuring, they make sure that all the companies is there in the SAP Ariba platform where they can procure and do things. Correct. So they have used SAP as a platform where all the suppliers comes in by through the company. Correct. And going to the seventh, which is Big Bang. So basically Big Bang is traditional push marketing where you spend a lot of money and get the customers. Correct. So when Twitter started up this particular app, So what they done is they have invested around like 11K, 1000K in a kind of a in a southwest south by southwest kind of a invent like a interactive film and music festival where they have created a screen board where people can tweet something, like they can type something and they can see in the board, correct, which kind of give them that FOMO that hey, I can see this particular one in whatever I'm typing, it is so in the kind of a big dashboard, correct. So it's kind of gave them that particular first advantages where people are joining in kind of a FOMO, and they have spent a lot of money in that particular case. Similarly for Tinder, when they started this particular app, so the founder used to go city by city, they go to the male community and kind of trying to see what is the benefit of this particular app. They went to trying to onboard them, they go to the all the female kind of a community and trying to onboard them as well. So they have gone city to city and spent a lot of money to kind of onboard those users. Once they have done it, and kind of it created a platform effect. And in these particular cases, this basically you do whenever you have a lot of money to spend and you have a lot of time to do it, because it is not a good kind of I cannot say it is a best way, but if you have an high, you want like high volume and immediately you have to spend a lot of money in terms of marketing. Last one, which is called a micro market. So basically you start with a teeny market, like you start with a small confined specific set of user, then you expand it to more. So when Facebook started, it started it started with a campus like Harvard. It kind of created a uh, um, kind of a social platform within the campus, kind of a Harvard. Then what exactly they saw, hey, in this platform it is expanded, then they go to the next platform, next campus, and kind of release this particular one. So now they started from the teeny market, where small university campus, then they change it to other campus. So basically they start from the small campus and they move it to different campus, which kind of make them grow in a larger space now. Because at the time when they started, it was MySpace already there, so they have a lot of building. But for them, it's without spending a lot of money, they started with a small tiny market, and they have expanded to a bigger market after we go, and then we know where exactly Facebook is now. So that being said, I have like all the strategy which kind of help you out uh, in terms of solving any of the chicken egg problem. So what exactly you do is, whenever you face any of the problem where you want to start a two-sided marketplace, you see what are the things you can, which of the tactics you can use to gain this particular two-sided, because it is impossible to make sure that people will come and join to you. You have to make something valuable for this two-sided so that you can get benefit from that. So that being said, I'm open for questions. Uh, uh, Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot for listening to me. Okay, so we'll wait for some time for a few questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Subrat and Prasant is a wonderful presentations. So just I want to know one thing. So the platform business, how it is different compared to, for example, the example you give in the mall,
Yep.
and for example, you give the LinkedIn or anything, right? So how they are different,
Okay.
and what are the challenges you
Sure.
see in both?
Sure. So what exactly I do see is, so platform was there, like platform business is already there. Okay. So what exactly the problem is that it is not scalable. So basically, what are the platform model we had? It needs some investment. Like when I tell you mall is a platform business, correct? You cannot kind of build that another mall and kind of expand it, right? You have to spend a lot of money. So it's kind of a platform business, but it needs a lot of money and investment, as it is needed physical infrastructure. Currently, every, like previously, what are the platform we have is more related to physical asset. Like you have to have a newspaper, because it has to scale to a different region. You have to print those and send those to different people. So it was not scalable. As it is physical, it is very difficult to scalable. But now if you see, all the platform is kind of a software, like it is kind of a it's a just a matchmaking between the demand and supply. It's kind of creating a network effect. Like basically, how exactly network effect means, let's say I am kind of looking for Uber. I joined to the Uber platform. I'm looking for kind of a go to A to B. So I just request something, it create a demand, and as the demand grows, people will, all the driver will come in and kind of join. So this kind of it is all content through a software process, where adding a new user, it will cost me less. Adding a new driver, it will cost me less. So I don't have to spend a lot of money because as no physical infrastructure is there, it's just an app matchmaking. It will be easier for me to scale it. And if I go to different industry, apart from just taking that office and everything, that's being kind of a usual for all the businesses. But scaling it, it will be the number of transaction per user, adding to the new user. It is not going to be cost me more. So it's kind of a make that current users model where you want to move as in when move the cost of transaction per user at some point of time, it will not scale. It will not be kind of a more, it cannot go down. It cannot be go down zero. It will be up. You have to spend a lot of money. So if you see in this particular chart, it's showing that once you touch this particular point, like if this particular volume, if once you touch this particular volume, you want to scale, you have to spend a lot of money. But in terms of platform business, if you see as an use grow, it is going to be keep decreasing. It is not going to go up. So that's kind of a big benefit for the kind of platform business to scale and kind of a grow, which will kind of help the kind of all the business to survive this extra, like they can grow as and they want. Hope I answer your question. Answer your answer.
Yeah, thank you. So it's answer my questions. Yeah, thank you both.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Then I think we don't have any more questions. Then we can end this call, and
Yeah,
we can catch you later. Thanks a lot.
thank
I will
you.
share this deck in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.